Hello, everyone. On today's webinar, announcing the brand new release, Newired 23.3. My name is Jiří Valek. I'm representing the product management team of Newired, and I am going to speak today about the brand new capabilities that were recently released September this year. It will be a webinar where I'll mostly be showing the new capabilities and improvements live. I'll be more than happy if you would ask questions during a webinar via the Q&A or chat panel, and I'll be answering them if you would have any questions. And the webinar will be recorded, so we'll share the recording with you today or tomorrow. So once again, hello everyone and welcome on today's webinar where we speak about our brand new release 23.3. As usual on this type of webinars, I'm not driven by the PowerPoint slides, but by our blog post. Here is the page on our website that speaks about our brand new release 23.3. And without any further, let's say, introductions, let's just dive into what we have released in this quite important milestone, as you would see in the webinar today. So first, I want to speak about the intermediate starting points for the journeys. I mean, the journey is a great vehicle to guide the users through a particular process or standard operating procedure, and it usually starts with the, let's say, introduction. You go through the required steps, and at the end you finish with the one particular task. But it may happen that for some particular journeys, you would like to allow people to join the journey also in the middle. A typical example for such a content could be an onboarding of a user that you start an onboarding and the onboarding has few chapters. I mean, it's up to you if you divide the journey into sub journeys or if you would, let's say, prefer to start the journey in the middle. But we definitely find it important that we give you a flexibility to decide by yourself. The other use case could be that, let's say, during a process, the person recognized that, let's say, they don't remember well the instructions and they want to jump on board the actual instructions in the middle. So there are multiple reasons why it would make sense to let's see, not start the journey always from the beginning, but be able to start it from a particular moment. There is a very nice parallel, and this parallel is related to the gaming. I'm not a heavy gamer, but based on my, let's see, very brief understanding, you definitely have something which is called the checkpoint. So, I mean, when you restart a game, I mean, you don't want to start always from scratch. You want to start from a specific moment that is predefined by the so-called checkpoints. It is important for journeys as well, because if you want to, let's say, have a journey that creates a new opportunity and send it to a manager for review, you definitely, let's say, cannot start on any step because let's say you cannot go back once you already click save button, etc. So how does it really work? Let's dive into a live demo. So here we have our CRM system where we typically, let's see, document our capabilities, or we use it as a demo server. And we have here a journey onboarding for newcomers. So I can start it, and it starts from the beginning, and I can go through the steps and get familiar with particular, let's say, elements on the screen. But what is new is that in this help menu, I have, from whatever reason it was removed. We will design now a journey that will show you how to define so-called checkpoints for the onboarding journey and how we would be able to start the journey in the middle. So what I do, I go into our editor, and let's create such a journey with the checkpoints, and let's have a look how does it really work in details. Give me just 1 second. I will clean up this screen a bit. Yes. So we go to the Newired editor, and let's build the journey called what's new in 12.3 CRM. Okay, so we are just imagining that we create a journey that wants to announce new capabilities in the CRM system or in the process. And what it means is that there is, for example, a new panel, My Accounts. So I would start with a dialog, and this would be a home page announcements. Let's speak about what is new on home page. And then we just announce that there is a new My Account page. Okay, so there is a new My Account panel. Good. Then there is also on the accounts page, let's imagine that we added a support for bulk action. So I put here a dialog, accounts page improvements. And we give here a step, bulk action is now supported. And on the opportunities page, the bulk action is here as well. So again, opportunities improvements. And we say bulk action is supported on opportunities page. So we have built a journey that we can start always from the beginning. It starts, and I can explain that there are some, let's say, improvements on the home page. There is My Account page. There are improvements on the accounting page. And we see here that the journey has failed. Why it has failed? Because if you remember, I get into the accounts page to actually highlight that there is a bulk action. So I don't want a user to train him how to get to the accounts page. I just want to, let's say, automatically open all the places in our application that where I want to announce what's new. So how I do it? So first, there is in the URL tab over a specific step, there is a checkbox, set this step as intermediate starting point. Let's do it for this homepage announcements. Then on the accounts page, we want the same. So we want for this accounts page improvements, I want to set this step as starting point as well. And for the opportunities page, we want to do the same. So on the opportunities, we want to set the URL as an intermediate starting point as well. And let's have a look how it works now. So now I start the journey. I am on my home page settings, so I explained that there is my accounts. And now when I click next, the system automatically launches the accounts page where I can, of course, highlight the bulk action. So what am I showing actually? So what I'm saying is that when I mark a specific step as a checkpoint, in other words, as intermediate starting point, the step will automatically redirect to this URL. So what it means is that we can automate the transition to a specific pages in your target application. Why is it important? It is important because it actually makes it easier for the user to go from one page to the other. So we don't need to explain, please click marketing and account. We just get the user there. But as an alternative benefit, if I have a look in our journey, what's new in 12.3, there's this little extra menu called Start Journey from Intermediate Starting Point, where we can see all those, let's say, starting points. So if I click on Accounts Page Improvements, I get immediately to the step in the journey that speaks about account page. If I want, I can start from Opportunities Improvements, and I get to the Opportunities Improvements. So the URL is important first for the checkpoint to know where the system should be navigated, but also during the journey, we can get the user from one page to the other. So now if you publish this journey, so let's publish it, set to active, we go to our portal, and let's publish these journeys. Now if you go live into our demo environment, we have our brand new journey called What's New in 12.3 CRM. And we can start from the scratch and, let's say, go through the full journey step by step. You see that when I click next, we automatically get to the opportunities page. Here we can, let's say, introduce the changes and then explain it one by one. Or I can just jump to any, let's say, particular step in the middle. We cannot start the journey from any step, as I said, because I mean, it is not possible to navigate through the URL to every step in a journey. But the journey author must mark in the editor what are, let's say, the steps that should be actually used as a checkpoints via this check mark. But once the user perform the setting, so once the, let's say, content author will highlight that some of these, let's say, settings are the intermediate starting points, the user can easily navigate to them from the help menu. There is also another option. Let's imagine that we play the preview of a specific journey. So what is the preview? The preview is like a slideshow. So I can just preview my content without, let's say, going live into the pages. And we see that for every checkpoint, which is the step 1, 3, and 5, I can start the journey directly from here. So the great thing is that I have my slideshow where I see all, let's say, the preview, the screenshots, and I can say, hey, I want to start from this opportunity. So I just click, and in one step, I get to this particular, let's see, step of a journey. I think this is really an extra important, let's say, improvement of our digital adoption platform, because now you have the flexibility to decide, let's say, how do you want to structure your content. Sometimes it's truly better to decompose journeys into the let's say, short procedures and structure them in the playbook. So we have a getting starting playbook with few journeys. But sometimes, as we have seen just now, I mean, when I'm announcing a new features and I just want to go through it, and then I would say, yeah, let me play back a specific moment of a journey, then I start this journey from this particular moment. So for such a what's new journeys, it is an excellent, let's say, a feature to enable end user to select, I mean, what they want to see again, or just send this to a particular person just to watch one or two new features in the target application. So that's the first extremely important new, let's say, capability of our brand new release. It is for those who are using Newired already, I mean, you will not see an immediate benefit over the existing content. So the existing journeys will not allow you to, or will not enable the start from menu, because as I said, you would need to go to the editor and mark the steps in your journeys that shall be used as such checkpoints. So if you want to start using this feature, I mean, you need to go and adjust your existing journeys or let's say playbooks, etc. Now let's speak about segmentation. The segmentation has been, or in general, the way how we report over the data has been improved this year significantly. But the segments are, let's say, used not only to filter the analytics, but also, let's say, to control how or what data are visible to a different group of people. Okay, so you know that in the past you were able always to design who can see what journey in the, let's say, visibility tab, where you were able to design the visibility rules. So there are visibility rules that are based on URL, on the content, on the custom properties via the API integration, on user experience level. But the customers were a bit, let's say, complaining that it means that you need to design the rules over and over and again, and it would be much better if you can define a specific, let's say, segment of users or a group of users that should see a particular content, and then just apply that the journey is visible to a limited number of users. And this is exactly what our segment editor is about. So I can define a segment, English users logged in, which, let's say, contains a reference to multiple criteria. So this means that the URL is not a login page and the language of the browser is English. Okay, that's a definition of a segment. And then I can actually easily say that this particular journey, how to log in, will be visible only to the segments English browser and Italian browser, but some other journey, like this CRM overview, will be available only to the users that are, let's say, English users already logged in. So the segment editor helps you to control easily, let's say, the rules that are repetitive and apply over different conditions. But what is important is that a segment is not used only to filter the content or to, let's say, design who can trigger the journey automatically, so the auto start conditions. But it's important that the segments are also affecting the analytics of Newired. What does it really mean? So anytime you run a specific journey on a client, anytime you complete a journey, we send the information to the server, which is actually logged. So if I go to activity feed, I see that the people are actually, let's see, performing some steps, some actions with our digital adoption platform. You see that I've completed the journey, what's new in 12.3 CRM. Here I once dropped off of the journey. But with this information, with the information that Digivalek has done something, we also send the information into which segments this particular, let's say, activity belongs. So I can easily search for all the activities that are being performed by, for example, Italian browser. So these are, we don't really, from the analytics point of view, we don't really know how is this segment defined, because the segment has been evaluated on the client. So from security point of view, we don't know details about what is the screen size, where does the person sit, if it, let's say, if it sits in Prague or London, whatever. We only define the segment is being evaluated on the client, and then we just send the information into which segments the user belongs. So here we see some Italian colleagues that have been, let's say, using our demo server, and we're using the, let's say, or we're associated with the segment Italian browser. So once again, we don't know in general, let's see, anything about the user. We only know that these particular users belong to the group IT browser, which is defined here, by the way, by the fact that the browser language is Italian. But we don't know this information on the server. We don't collect it. We only collect the segment name. So if you call the segment X and another segment Y, there is no personal information tracked about the user. So I can actually filter the analytics, activity feed, journeys, playbooks, anything by the segments as well. And what is extremely new now is that I can actually select also multiple segments. So the ability to filter by a segment was already there even before, but we have heard the people that, let's say, what you need really is to be able to actually have more flexibility in searching and filtering over the data. And multi-segment selection is, let's see, really important in this regards. As I said, the filtering is, is a general platform feature. So if you go to journeys, we can filter the journeys by the segments as well, and you can again select multiple segments if necessary and filter as you need or as you, let's say, designed the particular segments. So if you go back, the multi-segment selection in analytics really give you more power to derive deeper insights from your data. And again, how much data are collected, it's of course up to you. And that's another, let's say, important improvement that we are announcing just now. And this is related about page view analytics. So before I speak about this particular feature, let me just highlight what are the page view analytics. So again, there are analytical data that are connected with how are the users using our software, which means digital adoption platform. So how many journeys they have performed for any particular journey. I can actually dive deep and find out, let's say, who has completed it. In this case, we see that myself has completed it today because we have just designed it. Once actually I dropped on a particular step, you see that as I can start a journey from the beginning, it also means that the numbers are, let's see, not decreasing because more people can start the journey from the opportunities from this step. We see that once or two people, or we started it twice on that step, but once I let's say stop the journey on this particular moment. So these are all informations about how are the journeys being used on top of the target application. Contrary to the page views help you to understand how do you use a target application. So we see that, for example, how many user goes to the login page, how many people open the home screen, how many people go to the accounts page. If I click on it, I immediately see, let's say, the trend charts. I can click users, how many users has opened it. So I have pretty important information about what is happening on your target application. How many users are using a marketing section over the sales dashboards, etc. What we are helping you now to define is to design a so-called favorite filters. So in this case, we see that I can just click here on sales. And here I see, let's say, what are the activities related to my sales favorite setting. And how do I do it? So when I go into the favorites, I can just click here this add button and define it like a test. And here I can, let's see, add multiple URLs. So I can design, let's see, what are all the pages that I want to track. In addition, actually, I don't need only to copy the actual URLs, but I want to actually only search for a particular, let's say, segment of the URL. So when I do this, because here we see that you can actually also just type words, and there is an or statement. You can, let's say, use the minus prefix to exclude a particular word, etc. So in this case, I just create this query, and I can click on it, and you see, let's see, all the pages matches this particular query. I can, of course, edit the queries, etc. So what is important is that you can define a specific queries over your different pages, and then have a quick summary of how many views / users have been opening these particular pages, again connected with the segments or with a time. So this again give you a more information about what the users are actually doing on your target application. You may use this to identify which are the, let's say, um, places on your target application that are used most, and on those pages you may, let's say, invest more into building a better onboarding content. Or contrary, maybe the people are not using activities because they don't know it exists, so you can build a journey that promotes, let's see, the pages related to the activities. So the page view analytics are, let's say, the out-of-the-box feature of Newired, which helps you to understand not just behavior of the user, how they use the journeys, playbooks, tips, etc., but also how they use a target application. And we can also delete this, so let's clean it up, because that was just a test. So the enhanced page view analytics with the favorite section make it better for you to, let's say, get to the right data over and over again, so you don't need to search over and over again, and the system can just remember a popular searches in your analytics. I was already speaking very often today about a flexibility that our digital adoption platform Newired offers. So for almost every feature in Newired, you can decide whether you enable it or disable over your target application or use case. And this is extremely important from the security point of view. If you go to the Newired portal and we go into the administration, we see that we have always make it possible to first enable or disable the personal analytics. So first, on a level of a particular site, you can always decide if you want to enable the system to collect any information or not. So as long as I don't add the collector into the snippet, the system is not collecting any information. So no information is being passed from the client to the server. So you can disable the collection, let's say the collection or collecting of any information by the Newired server. Without the collector enablement, the system pushes no information from your client to the server. So you can completely disable the analytics. By the way, the system can be installed on premise or in the cloud. So where are the data stored is also up to you. Once you enable the analytics, the other decision you need to make is whether the data will be, let's say, collect it anonymously, or if you want to collect who perform what journey, etc. You can disable it, let's say, in the global administration, or if you go back into the specific site, under the advanced setting, I can enable or disable the personal analytics also on the site level. Now, with the personal analytics, we collect the information about the particular user. That's why if I click on the activity feed, I was able to see my name under the analytics. If I would mark the personal analytics as disabled, I would see that some user has completed the journey, but I will not know who did it. Okay. Now, in addition into it, we also enable you to decide if you want to enable the page tracking, which means the page view tracking for your users, which again can be personal or non-personal, driven by this particular setting, but the page tracking can be now enabled or disabled. Again, either globally as a default, or I can say on the side level, again under the settings and advanced settings, page tracking enabled, true, false. Okay, so you can disable it by default and enable it for one particular site. There are more settings that you see that we can, let's say, override on the level of the site. So what I'm saying now is that you have very granular control about, are the data collected? Is it personal or not personal? And newly, you can also, let's say, decide whether you want to track only the information about the journeys or also the information about the actual page views. We speak here about the fact that you can expect more enhancements in the next releases to further customize and tailor page tracking. For those who are with us for a long time, there is just one thing that I want to highlight that we have on the roadmap. On the roadmap, we want to enable you to actually process the URLs in a way that you would be able to support applications that has a dynamic elements in the URL. So for example, you can have here, I don't know, the logged in user identifier in the URL, or you want to have, there are applications that have in the URL a session ID or the current department segment. But you don't want these URLs to be recognized as different URLs. So you want some uniformity over your URL. So we want to provide you with the pre-process and post-process actions, how to, let's say, unify the URLs into something which is which helps with better segmentation and better tracking. We are not only, let's say, investing into the new capabilities and new features. We are, of course, fixing issues and potential bugs. And we also maintain our, let's say, our compatibility metrics. Honestly, we were a little bit late on that particular topic. We are now officially supporting Windows Server 2022. It doesn't mean that it was not working before on this particular version, but now it's officially supported, and your satisfaction and smooth operations are definitely on top of our priorities. So just to recap what we have announced in this specific new version of Newired. The first is ability to start a journey in the middle, specifically on a predefined checkpoints. This is being something that enables you really to have a control whether you want to break journeys into smaller sub journeys or if you want to have one bigger journey with the checkpoints defined easily using our Newired editor. Segmentation now is very well, let's say, applicable to filter the analytics. For the page tracking, we now support the favorites, especially the favorite searches, and more flexibility into the page control, whether you have it enabled or disabled. So that's what we wanted to highlight today. The next version is supposed to happen January 2024. This will be the official version 24.0. As you know, we follow the agile software development practice, so we release quite frequently every quarter. And whenever is the feature completed, we don't wait for the major version. We just announce it if it is fully completed, tested, and robust to go live. I'll now check whether, let's say, there are any open questions. I was trying to be very descriptive and explicit, so maybe there are not many, but I see that there were some questions. Using the intermediate starting point, can we use this in a 30-step journey to skip ahead to a specific action point? Exactly, that's what we try to highlight. I mean, of course, I did not design a journey with 30 steps. My journey had maybe just 10 steps. But with this, you can go ahead and just, let's say, launch a journey from a particular, let's say, step. Supposing that there is a URL where the user should go or that is associated with this particular step. So the journey checkpoint is 100% connected today with a specific URL. So you can imagine that, let's say, on a browser, you can use the bookmark capability to bookmark a particular place in an application. So the checkpoints are a combination of a bookmark, so on something that, let's say, can be remembered, with an instruction over this page, and with the fact that the journey will continue from this step. So yes, you can definitely, let's say, have a long journey and just suggest the user to start it from any specific step, or when they preview it via the slideshow, they can just say, yeah, I want to learn more about these accounts pages, so I just start the journey in the middle. Check, there are more questions. No questions so far. Let's wait a minute. If someone will ask more. Are the page analytics personal? Yes. So we go into the page views. For any page, we actually know how many people or how many times this page was opened versus how many users has opened this page. And this is related to the personal information. So, but this feature works the same if you enable or not the same. So what is a user? In case you are using a personal analytics, the user is really associated with a one identity. So it's a Jiří Valek, it's a Robert the project, so just simply different users. In case you disable the personal analytics, if I will be working on two different computers, the system will automatically generate some anonymous identifier, but this will be connected with my browser. So if I would use two different browsers, I would be counted as two individual users. What we don't show in the current moment is a list of users who have opened a particular page, which technically you would be able to do so, and this is something that you can expect us to do in one of the future releases. are the segments compatible with the browser extension deployment mode? So as I said before, the segments are actually evaluated on the client. So what it means is that the evaluation, if myself in a specific moment pass the criteria of a given segment or not, is 100% evaluated on the client, and then we just send the information to the or we use this information on the client to filter what content is visible. And second, we send the information about every let's say active segment with our to our collector, to the system that collects the data for the analytics. And this happens also with the Newired extension. So even if you are using a Newired browser extension, we send the information to the system, no matter if it is installed on premises or in the cloud. And the segments are evaluated on the client in the very same way as if you are using the let's say the snippet to deploy the particular let's say the digital adoption platform layer over your target application. So there's no difference if you are using the browser extension or if you are using the snippet. These are all the questions that I see so far. Thank you very much for all of them. Thank you for your time. I hope that you will like the new capabilities. If you have any questions, of course, contact our support at support@newired.com or go to our, let's say, support self-service portal. We'll be more than happy to just help you to benefit from all these new capabilities that we have been just announcing, even just with the, let's say, guidance how to set it up, or if you would have any tips how to improve these capabilities for the future. Thank you for attending our webinar today, and let's stay in touch. Bye, everyone.